The New York Knicks has been on the spotlight for this entire season. Every single New York Knicks fan and even Stephen A. Smith has been going crazy for their season, and this is something that has been very astonishing, as for years now, the New York Knicks has always been a team literally considered a doormat team, expected to do nothing but fail year after year. However, what was the exact catalyst for the sudden outbreak regarding the New York Knicks? What events did the Knicks have to go through for them to get to this point in present time? In the past, the Knicks front office has made some horrible decisions and circumstances just wasn't on their side, which caused them to be the literal laughingstock of the entire league. And it was only a matter of time where this team was going to finally be able to get back on track as a serious competitor within the playoffs. What is up, you guys? It's your boy Eli back with another video. It is a great time to be alive, as the Knicks are finally a team that you must take seriously. We will be discussing how the Knicks went from being the laughingstock of the league to a playoff team within the time frame that they did in the shortest way possible. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel. I post NBA discussions covering controversial topics or even relatable topics that could be considered, and I will be doing scouting videos for new prospects as this season is about to transition to the postseason. And you guys also have the option to comment down below any future video topics that you may want to see. But other than that, let us continue on with today's video. Now, obviously, the Knicks within present time has been and will continue being the iconic story of the season, having the players that they have currently. But back in the 2010 NBA season, this was a time that you could say is very significant for the New York Knicks as well. This was the time where the Knicks traded away a bunch of their players present for the team at the time. Notable players include Danilo Gallinari and Raymond Felton, of course, who were playing respectable basketball for the Knicks franchise at the time. And they also traded away a few of their future draft picks for them to acquire Carmelo Anthony along with Chauncey Billups and company from the Denver Nuggets. Along with this trade, the Knicks were able to acquire Amar'e Stoudemire from free agency ever since the Phoenix Suns got rid of him for the sake of their future. With the sudden change of the Knicks roster implementing Carmelo and Stoudemire into the lineup, this team suddenly shifted their narrative around being a lottery team to consistently making the playoffs for a certain time frame. At the same time, this is a trade that you could say had its good deeds while having a significant downside all in one. Starting off with the good side of the trade, implementing star players such as Carmelo Anthony and Amar'e Stoudemire was enough to make the New York Knicks a team competing for a spot within the NBA playoffs. And this was something that made this team enjoyable to watch, especially for Knicks fans who at the time were seeking for their beloved team to become the team that they've been dreaming for them to be. Considering the years 2011 and 2012, the Knicks became a significantly better team compared to the team before this trade. But it was clear that they weren't a team ready to make a finals run. Within both of these years, they suffered back-to-back first-round exits, starting off with the Boston Celtics in 2011 and then the Miami Heat in 2012. And then in 2013, the Knicks were featured with Carmelo Anthony having one of his best seasons of his entire career, leading the Knicks to a respectable second seed, beating the Boston Celtics in the first round, but instead losing to the Indiana Pacers in the second round. Now, assuming the great side of this trade, they had the luxury to witness the greatness of Carmelo Anthony and Amar'e Stoudemire, of course, but sadly, it was only for a 3-year stretch. Considering the downside of this trade for the New York Knicks, obviously they gave up some of their future draft picks for them to compete in the playoffs to possibly play for an NBA championship within the 2010s decade, but there were severe cons for the players that they have received. Carmelo Anthony has been great for the New York Knicks, so we won't be considering him. However, we will be considering Chauncey Billups and Amar'e Stoudemire. Chauncey Billups is a big name, of course, since he was able to take down Kobe Bryant and Shaq in the 2004 NBA Finals, but he was way out of his prime and he was simply a shell of himself during his time on the New York Knicks, so he wasn't going to be able to contribute at the rate that he was once able to contribute in. And to add on, they literally got rid of Billups the year after they traded for him. Amari Stoudemire, on the other hand, dealt with issues slightly different from Chauncey Billups. At the time, the Knicks acquiring Stoudemire was a great decision, but only for a short-term time period. The main reason as to why the Suns got rid of Stoudemire in the first place was because they wanted to play for the sake of their future, and they felt as though Stoudemire was going to decline drastically due to having issues within his knees. But the Knicks decided to sign him to a deal, and he was able to play at a superstar caliber level until it became evident that the Phoenix Suns predictions turned out to come true. He went from being a dominant 25 points per game scorer in 2010 to suddenly drop into 17.5 points per game in 2011, and then to 14.2 points per game in 2012, and then so on and so forth. It seems like Stoudemire's injury caught up to him, causing him to not be able to perform at the superstar level he performed at within the 2010 season, causing the Knicks signing him to become a horrible decision. Eventually, he ended up going to the Dallas Mavericks in the 2014 NBA season on the brink of his retirement. Considering these events for the New York Knicks, I would say that trading for Carmelo Anthony had many drawbacks that would eventually come back to bite them in the future. With Anthony leading this team after the great season in 2013, the Knicks then went on to suffer an 8-year stretch of missing the players from 2014 to present time. During this long stretch, James Dolan, who is of course the owner for the Knicks franchise, made some horrible decisions himself when it comes to the Knicks' future, and he also had an influence regarding why the Knicks just could not get anything together and eventually became the laughingstock of the entire league. They eventually ended up trading away Carmelo Anthony within the 2017 NBA offseason for role players, considering it an end of that specific era for the New York Knicks. Time after time within the NBA draft, the Knicks drafted players such as Kristaps Porzingis, who they ended up trading, and RJ Barrett, who have been very great contributors for the Knicks. But they also drafted other players who didn't live up to their potential, such as Kevin Knox and Frank Ntilikina. Overall, their long stretch of missing the playoffs revolves around bad luck circumstance-wise, horrible trades, and horrible drafting to a certain degree. And let us not forget the moment where Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving were both rumored to join the New York Knicks in the 2019 free agency period, but instead joined the Nets due to the influence of James Dolan. Things have been very dark for the entire Knicks franchise as of lately, but then a sudden spark arose. Firstly, this involves the instance of acquiring Julius Randle and RJ Barrett both within the 2019-20 NBA season, which was last season of course. Although they missed the playoffs last season, Julius Randle was playing respectable basketball for the Knicks during the time, and he was looking like he was going to have a breakout season one of these years. RJ Barrett was of course a rookie drafted as the 3rd overall pick, and he played his role accordingly. However, things got even better within the 2020 NBA offseason. They were able to sign players such as Nerlens Noel, who is a very great defensive center, and they drafted both Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickley. They then proceeded to sign Tom Thibodeau for the head coach position, and it has been clear that signing him to coach the team was a very great decision. Throughout this entire season, Thibodeau has been making his players play very hard and with grit and grind, and he has been able to get the full potential out of every single one of his players. RJ Barrett has stepped up enormously. Emmanuel Quickley has proved to be a great draft pick for the Knicks, and of course, Julius Randle is currently having his best season of his entire career, being selected to the All-Star game for the first time ever. And they also proceeded to sign Derrick Rose, who is another veteran, and he has also contributed in a great level for the New York Knicks. After every single head coach the Knicks signed and fired, after every single bad decision and horrible luck this team has experienced, this season may be the best time for the Knicks to finally start celebrating. They managed to become one of the best defensive teams in the league, and they have completely solidified the 4th seed within the Eastern Conference, which is undoubtedly a huge improvement for this team in particular. It seems like Tom Thibodeau is here to stay as the Knicks head coach, and due to the Knicks playing out outstanding basketball, they now have the possibility to lure big-time free agents to their squad, assuming that the Knicks has one of the biggest markets in the league and they are now playing respectable basketball. But other than that, that will conclude today's video. I can't emphasize enough how much I enjoy what the Knicks are doing, being an individual that is of course from New York City. It is about time that my city finally has teams that are playing phenomenal basketball, and hopefully the Knicks could step it up to the next level for more years to come. What do you guys think about the New York Knicks? Let me know in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel. I will greatly appreciate it. I'm out. Peace.